Can you imagine a life where love feels like a distant dream? My home was my safe place until it was not. My name is Maria. I am 17. I live with my father in a small town. Life was simple and happy. My father was kind, and our house was full of laughter. Then, everything changed. He met Sarah. She was beautiful and smart, he said. I tried to be happy for him. I really did. But from the first day she came, I felt a cold wall between us. Sarah smiled, but her eyes were sharp. She spoke in a polite voice, but her words often stung. At first, I thought I was imagining things. Maybe I was too sensitive. But soon, her cruelty became clear. Small things at first. She compared me to other girls. She said I was lazy when I left my shoes on the floor. She said my hair looked messy, even when I brushed it carefully. One evening, I remember sitting on my bed, staring at the wall. My father was reading downstairs. He seemed happy. I did not want to bother him with my feelings. He loved Sarah. I could not say anything. The tension grew. She gave me long lists of chores. She watched me like a shadow. If I did something wrong, she would sigh loudly and walk away. Her anger was quiet but heavy. My own room felt small and cold. I missed my old life. I missed laughing without fear. I missed my father being only my father, not someone who looked at me differently because of her. I wanted to run away, but I had no place to go. School was my only escape. At least there I could breathe. One day, I asked my father quietly, "Do you think Sarah likes me?" He looked surprised. She will like you in time," he said. But I knew he was not sure. I felt a deep sadness. I wanted love from her, but I knew it might never come. That night, I cried silently under my blanket. I wondered if I would ever feel at home again. The cold wall between us felt unbreakable. And yet, somewhere deep inside, a small voice whispered, "Maybe there is hope." Days passed, and life at home became harder. Sarah's anger was like a shadow over every room. I tried to stay quiet, to do everything perfectly, but nothing helped. Even when I washed the dishes or cleaned the floors, she found something to criticize. One morning, she said, "Maria, why do you always look so sad? Do you want attention?" Her words were sharp. I wanted to disappear. I nodded silently, not daring to speak. My father looked away. He did not argue, he did not defend me. I felt alone. School was my only refuge. I had a small group of friends who made me laugh. But even there, I carried the sadness with me. I could not stop thinking about home. I felt like a stranger in my own house. Sometimes I tried small acts of kindness toward Sarah. I brought her tea, I helped her with errands. She did not notice. She treated my efforts like air. I felt invisible. At night, I wrote in my notebook. It was my secret place. I wrote about my fears, my sadness, and my small dreams. I drew pictures of places I wanted to visit and people I hoped to meet. Writing made me feel a little strong, a little brave. Then, something surprising happened. One afternoon, I dropped my notebook in the living room. Sarah picked it up. She read the first page and frowned. I held my breath. But then she said softly, "You like to draw, huh?" Her voice was quieter than usual. I nodded. Yes. She gave a small smile and left the room. It was nothing big, but it felt like a crack in the wall between us. I realized maybe she was not completely cold. Maybe there was a tiny spark of understanding inside her. I began to notice small moments of light. My father sometimes looked at me with pride when I helped with the garden. My teacher praised my essays. A cousin visited and complimented my drawings. I started to see that I had strength inside me, even when Sarah tried to crush it. I also learned to set small boundaries. If Sarah shouted, I took deep breaths and walked away. If she criticized, I reminded myself that her words did not define me. Every small act made me feel a little free, a little more like myself. But the hardest days were still there. Some mornings I woke up with fear in my chest. I wanted love from my family, but I knew I could not wait forever. I had to find my own way to survive. And I promised myself one day I would find real happiness, even if it was far from home. The day came when I decided I could not wait for love from Sarah. I had to find it myself. I was tired of feeling small in my own house. I wanted to be seen, to be happy, even if no one else understood. One afternoon, I went to the small park near our home. I brought my sketchbook and sat under a tree. The sunlight felt warm on my face. I drew without thinking. Lines, shapes, colors, they became my escape. For the first time in months, I smiled. I realized happiness was not only something others gave me. I could make it myself. At home, I started to speak up. When Sarah criticized me, I stayed calm. I am trying my best, I said quietly, but firmly. She looked at me surprised. I saw the coldness in her eyes soften a little. She did not change completely, but I changed. I no longer let her words control my feelings. My father noticed. One evening, he said, "Maria, I am proud of you." His words made my heart warm. I realized that sometimes love is quiet. It is not perfect, but it can still exist, even in small moments. I also discovered new things I loved. I joined an art club at school and met friends who encouraged me. I painted, I shared my work, and for the first time, I felt my own voice mattered. My world grew bigger than the walls of our house. Months passed. Life was still complicated, but I felt stronger. Sarah still criticized, still gave me chores, but her power over me was smaller. I understood that hope is not about changing others. It is about changing your own heart. I could not make her love me, but I could love myself. One quiet evening, I sat by my window and watched the sunset. My heart felt light. I had survived the cold, the hatred, and the silence. I had learned patience, courage, and the power of small joys. And I knew, no matter what happened, I could create happiness in my life. I want to tell you, if you ever feel trapped by someone's cruelty, you can find light too. It may start small, a smile, a word, a hobby, but it grows. And one day, you will see that your life is yours to shape.
What would you do if you were Maria? Would you stay silent or find your own voice? Share your answer in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more interesting English stories. Key vocabulary from the story are cruelty, refuge, criticize, boundary, and escape. Cruelty, unkind or hurtful behavior. Refuge, a safe place. Criticize, to say something is wrong. Boundary, a limit you set for yourself. Escape, a way to get away from problems. Lesson of the day. Resilience. Resilience is the ability to keep going despite problems. Examples from the story. I had survived the cold, the hatred, and the silence. I realized maybe she was not completely cold. More examples. She showed resilience by studying even when life was hard. Resilience helps people face challenges without giving up. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share. You can watch the next story here or explore our playlist for more inspiring stories. And don't forget to subscribe. More interesting stories for learning English are coming soon.